right, next up we have for you a recent graduate of our last Storytelling 101 class, a woman who is also up here for her first time, the one and only Erika Hagensen.
Whoa, there's a lot of you. Do you remember your first business trip? When you looked at your boss and you said, wait, you're going to pay for my hotel and my food. This was my first business trip, and I had 2 suits. It was buy one, get one, 50% off. And I had found my new identity. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was the professional me. The Uber employed me. The I might start an IRA me. And it wasn't just that I was going on one business trip, I was going on 2. It was 2 trips in 3 days in 2 countries, Seattle and Canada. And yeah, it's big, it's big. And this was gonna make or break my career. But the only problem was that there was a layover of 45 minutes. You know, and you know what happens when you only have a layover of 45 minutes? They lose your luggage, you know? And you can't lose your luggage when you're a professional. Yeah. So I had to come up with a solution. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, just carry your luggage. Yeah, I thought of that. But as a woman with a disability, carrying my luggage is not choice number 1. You know, and I'll be honest with you, it's not choice number 2 or number 3 either. You have to really want it. And I really wanted it. So I was going to carry my luggage, but the thing is I move kind of slow and I have trouble schlepping stuff. So, you know, I kind of needed a head start. And a head start meant pre-boarding. Except I'd never pre-boarded before in my whole life. You know, like I was the I can do it on my own, it just might take me a little longer sort of disabled chick. You know what I'm saying? I was the we all have a disability. You can just see mine. One with the masses. And pre-boarding was not a one with the masses sort of activity, you know, but as a professional, you've got to make sacrifices. So I went up to the counter, and there was the flight attendant. She had this blonde hair, and this pink lipstick that I think would have been a really good match for her natural hair color. And then she had this kind of severe neckerchief with this gold clasp, just kind of so big it pulled her whole head to the left. You know, and I went up to her in my professional voice and I said, pardon me, what time will you be pre-boarding? And she looked at me and she said, like, I don't get it. You mean for handicapped people? And I said, yeah, you know, people with disabilities. And she said, but like, I only pre-board wheelchairs, and I don't see any wheelchairs. And I was like, okay, be professional, be professional, be professional. You know, I said, there are some people who don't use wheelchairs who also need to pre-board. And it was at that moment that she like stepped away from the kiosk, and she gave me this very thorough, illegal once-over. And I guess I qualified. Yeah. And then she said, we will pre-board in 5 minutes. And I thought, yeah, that's weird. What put her in slow-mo? But I had stuff to do, you know, so I went back to my little area. I had my almost grown-up luggage. You know, I had my paper day planner. And I had my New York Times right here because I wanted everyone on that plane to know I read the paper. You know what I'm saying? And I was kind of excited because I was flying this new airline at the time. It was Southwest Airlines. Yeah, and they had this really cool setup where you didn't have to choose your seat in advance. No. You got to choose your seat in the moment. Like whatever seat was calling your name, that seat would be yours, you know? And so I start making in my professional, albeit slightly tricked out saunter, you know? And she's reaching for the mic, and I'm thinking like, this is my moment, you know? And she said, "All right, everyone, let's hit it." And then there was a stampede. You know, the New York Times was out of my arm, the suitcase was off its wheels, and I was like hanging on, you know? And she sees me, and she goes, "Oh my God, like I am so sorry." I said, "Yeah, that's okay." She goes, "Oh no, like I can totally fix this." And then with remarkable enunciation, she said, "Everyone, step aside. This little girl's handicapped." Wait, has that ever happened to you? No. Well, I mean, she fixed it, right? Because suddenly the seas parted, and I was Moses with a staff. Yeah. With a sign on my back that said, "Please deposit your inappropriate comments here." You know? So the first guy comes up to me and he was like, "You know, my uncle was a cripple." With this tone of voice, like maybe I knew him. And then the next guy was like, "Would you like to hold my hand?" And I looked at him and I was thinking, like, for so many reasons, no. And then there was the Mary Kay lady, right? She was like all pink, perfectly coiffed, stiletto heels. And she said in this really newly empowered voice, she said, don't you worry about your crippled little legs. Because you are still so pretty. Still so pretty, kind of like spilled out onto the floor as this insurmountable obstacle course between me and getting on the flight, but damn it, I'm a professional now. And I threw my bag in the overhead bin, and I buckled up my emotions, and I locked my pride in the upright position. I am making it through this flight. And then as we were deplaning, Mary Kay, still so pretty, she had wrapped her leg, somehow her heel, around the strap of the other guy's suitcase. And she went to take a step, and it was like arms flailing, arms flailing, arms flailing. And she went down. Hard. And I tapped that creepy guy from earlier, and I was like, you know, she might actually want to hold your hand. I mean, I'm just saying, she was struggling. But I mean, if there's ever been a takeaway, it's this. That next time that you hear that call for pre-boarding, you step aside, because it's my turn.